What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GmiasWorld, and today we're going to be talking about these motivators. Now, a lot of you guys don't know what motivators are. You're new to the channel. Some of you guys are veterans. You obviously know exactly what's going on with the motivators and what that's going to mean to the MUT market. And also, we've already spoken about the Christmas freeze promo that's coming soon as well, how that's going to balance it out. Now, people have been asking me specifically, what do I mean about if they patch the game and people start catching the ball and things get better, what do I mean about the market will level out and you'll be able to make money? Okay, understand this, right? Look, if you sell your cards right now, I'm just letting you know. Remember what I told you. Only the cards you can live without. The cards you can live without is not ideal to your offense or your defense. I already told you this. Like, for instance, right? It doesn't matter what happens to the market. I don't think that Michael Irvin's card is going to go up that much simply because of the way people grinded for it. And a lot of people just kept him just because of that, right? So if they start catching the ball, I don't think anybody would want to sell him because of his stats of being so, his catch and traffic being high and stuff like that. If EA is able to fix the game and make it so that everybody doesn't drop the ball the same way, he's going to be ideal. So he's somebody that you just keep because it didn't really cost you anything to get him. Unless you bought him out front, like you didn't grind like everybody else did and, get all the collectibles. If you bought him, maybe you want to sell him back. But if you didn't, he's a guy that, whatever, he's cool. If you got somebody that's powered up, like I told you, this guy was a Nat. I only power up Nats except for what is this guy named? This guy Fruitberry right here, bro. This guy right here sucks, bro. This guy I call him Fruitberry right now because this guy just be giving it up straight up like picking cherries from a tree, bro. This guy, I'm gonna tell you right now, dudes don't react to whatever's going on. And you might say he doesn't meet the threshold because what is he at? I think he's at a 90 zone, so he's not at the 91. The 1 is what's making him be so ridiculous. But then when I switch him and I put Sean Taylor there, Sean Taylor has what, a 92, 93? What does he have? A 93 zone coverage. He does the same thing. So I don't even want to hear that foolishness. All right. So look now, if you have cards like say for instance you got Nagata, right? And you could live without him. He's the guy that you try to get coins from. A lot of these corners, bro, like I can live without them. They don't really do like Casey Hayward and Josh Norman, bro. Like you might see in the next video, they're gone. Like I tell you guys, I just analyze the way the market is, and I try to do my best to figure out what I want to get rid of. Obviously, I'm trying to give you guys insight into what the things that I do, but when I get a chance, I do look at the market. I do see what's going on. I check the prices of things that have been sold, and I try to analyze what's worth it, what isn't. And that's how most of us make our come-ups. We get a card that, people think that, it's a bum. Like, for instance, right? Julio Jones, right? Julio Jones, his elite card, the one that goes to the power-up set, I could have bought that card for like $70K before he got his team of the week. It went up to like $300K right as soon as he got his team of the week because a lot of you guys still power up cards and it doesn't make sense to me to power up cards like that and lose millions of coins that you can't get back. So I just don't do it. But those are the type of situations I'm talking about. If you got cards that are worth like Travis Frederick, he's going to be a decent card for a while because regardless of what they do, even with this Football Outsiders, everybody knows that this card is glitchy. Everybody knows that. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's probably one of the few centers in the game that actually block, regardless of whatever their overall is. So those kind of things, you're going to want to keep that. You're going to want to keep that on your team because that's not easily replaced. But a guy like Zach Martin that always, this guy just lays down and never blocks. But it's just really hard for me to get rid of him because I don't, people are recommending other replacements that I think are really, really bad. And I don't want to do it. But he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. Lane Johnson, he's gonna be a decent right tackle for a while. You know what I'm saying? His 90 impact block and stuff like that is gonna be pretty good. But these are the type of cards that I'm talking about, right? Because if I have to question you, it's easy for me to get rid of you. Now, let's get to the motivators. What are motivators? What do they do? Motivators are specific cards that add specific type of chemistries, attributes to your team. All right. So what happens is, I think last year was the first year, Madden 17, that they did it with the motivators. All right. Now look, say that this guy Aaron Ripkowski, right? Say he's a motivator that adds awareness, whatever it is, right? He adds plus awareness to the offense. That's what he motivates. Whatever he motivates is going to show up in, as far as his stats go. Whatever it is that he motivates, when you go to any of your cards, you're going to see it go up. You know what I'm saying? But it's different than just chemistry. Because it affects the entire team, not just that specific chemistry or whatever. Like you see that he has like the dumbbell, which is like toughness. his chemistry, whatever that motivator chem will be, will affect sometimes it affects the entire team. Some of the stuff that they had last year affected the entire team. Like if you raised awareness, it'll be awareness for the entire team, stuff like that. That's what motivators are. So what's going to happen is the reasoning behind why it could possibly crash the market is because people are going to want to test out to see if it works. Like to get somebody over the threshold. Pretty sure it's going to be a lineman that's going to probably add, +1 impact block, right? So look, because we all know, if you guys have watched my previous videos, that 91 impact block is probably the meta. If you get a card that's a motivator that adds +1 impact block to your entire O-line, you're going to want to try that because you know that works. The specific things that work in the game, you're going to want to enhance that. You're going to want to make that better for you. So if a motivator gives you the thing that you're specifically looking for, you're going to do it. Now, I would stay away from any motivator that says plus whatever catching, because catching doesn't matter. Everybody drops the ball, bro. It doesn't matter if they got Stickum on their gloves. Everybody drops the ball, okay? Just be clear about that. So I don't want you guys to waste your coins on a motivator that adds catching. Now, we're waiting on a patch. If the patch addresses the catching issue, I will be the first. You guys, you see, that's the thing about it. You guys know this, right? And it was funny because I was in the Miami Dolphins championship stream, and I don't know if you guys know who Rex Dixon is. He's one of the I forgot what is it? He's I forgot what he does. What does he do there? He's a creative director of Madden 18, right? He comes through my stream every now and again on Twitch, and he said in the stream that my stream was too negative. Okay? Now, let me explain something to you. I've tried to explain, like I said, like keep in mind, when I'm streaming and I'm actually having the things happen to me, I'm not reacting in the same mind because this game makes me crazy. But when I address Rex, when I address all the developers, I'm very respectable about it. But they know how I feel about the game, because if I hide that, then I'm lying to you guys, which I don't want to do. I don't want to hide the way I feel about the game and be like, yeah, the game is good when you come into my stream. That doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit me. And if anybody that you watch does that, you should consider not watching them, because if I can't be up front and let them know, like, listen, I'm throwing the ball to wide open receivers with decent catch ratings and they're dropping the ball. How do you want me to be positive about that? You see what I'm saying? And that's something that I really struggle with, because there's a balance. But I'm the type of person, right? Look, I don't listen to people if they're not directly in my circle. If they, if you just give us suggestions or whatever. But that's because the people that are in my circle have become trustworthy, right? But if I made a game and I put it out there for the world to play, and you guys are showing me glaring things that are wrong with it, if you guys are respectable and tell me like, yo, listen, this was going on, and I don't listen, I have to expect as somebody that's involved with making the game, that anger is going to probably arise from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you play Candy Crush, you remember when Candy Crush was popping? I don't know if it's popping right now. When it was popping, people would go crazy when they couldn't pass a level. It wasn't that the game was bad. It was just that they couldn't, you had to just keep trying. You had to figure out how to do it. So we have emotions based on things that we love. And a lot of us love Madden. And if it's not living up to what it's supposed to be, we're not going to be walking around trying to take it out to dinner. We're going to be raging. That's what's going to happen, because there is no reason to have stats like catching traffic at a 94 and Michael Irvin drops wide open passes. It doesn't make any sense. So when something doesn't make sense and we allow it to keep going on, we're the ones to blame. I forgot what that saying is, but like how the real problem is the people that don't say anything. It's like a saying like that. I don't really know what it is because I had a lot to drink last night, but it's something like that. And when you think about it along those lines, when we're talking motivators, like say you get a running back and it adds +2 juke move, right, to all your cards. This guy has a 90 juke move, so I would probably want to get that fullback or whatever. Maybe it's a tight end, whatever, that adds juke move to see if the meta is just 91 all across the board. Because this guy sucks, and he just all of a sudden sucks. He used to be a glitch. Now, he just gets hit, and he fumbles the ball for no reason, back for 6. Like, what are you doing, LT? You see what I'm saying? So, if there were a motivator that would provide a +1, +2 juke move, I would try that. The only motivator I would really, really stay away from is the ones that have to do with catching. Now, you could do, I'm gonna let you guys in on something, right? You could get one in hopes that when they patch the game, it will fix the drop issue. You see what I'm saying? And then because of that, if you gamble and you get it, now that's going to skyrocket. Because if everybody knows you can catch the ball now, they're going to spend for it. But me, I don't want to gamble and get it because I just have a feeling that it's not going to be fixed. Because it's the same thing that was going on last year too. And I don't know if they, I just don't know. I don't know if they turn the slot, because they would have to make it more arcade mode for competitive mode. And I don't think they want to do that. So that's why I think it's difficult for them to do it, because if they adjust the sliders, I think it automatically adjusts the chances of aggressive catching through people's bodies and bringing back Madden 16, which we already have a lot of based on the last patch inside competitive mode. You guys see what I'm saying? So that's where I am with it. So as far as motivators go, defensively, you might get plus whatever with block shed for the entire defense, awareness for the defense, zone for the defense. That's going to be the best motivators to get. Okay? The best motivators to get is probably going to be ones that add zone coverage to your corners. Play recognition, everybody runs around like they have the awareness of a one-day-old baby, bro. Like, this dude Sean Taylor with a 93 zone, he just stands there and gets dotted. So I would see if maybe the zone coverage, like boosting your zone coverage would do it. Maybe a motivator for that would do it. But I don't know. Because Casey Hayward and Josh Norman, these dudes suck. So I don't really know if that'll, apply with what we're trying to do. We have to see. You see what I'm saying? So as far as it goes, I know that impact block on the O-line works. So I would go after O-line. I would go after O-line motivators that add plus whatever impact block to the entire O-line. That's guaranteed. Zone coverage, it's iffy. Catching, I would stay away from. That's pretty much what I would do with the motivators. Now, when the Christmas promo drops, right, it's going to be a lot of higher overall cards that are going to kind of balance it out. Because for the people that don't believe that the motivators work, they're going to go with the ultimate freeze. You see what I'm saying? So somewhere along the line, there's going to be a balance based on specific cards, because they have to make the freeze appealing. So it's going to be obviously higher overalls, and you might not need the boost. So it would make sense to get rid of the motivator. You see what I'm saying? Because if a card just works without the motivator, you don't need that motivator. You see what I'm saying? So based on what they drop, whatever they release, you're going to have to gauge. You could ask me questions. I'll probably make a video about it, about the best ones. But you're going to have to figure out what cards already works and what cards don't. And then if you get, like, say you get a Deion Sanders wide receiver, right? 95 speed. If there's a motivator that just boosts catching, but has also good speed, but Deion Sanders works for you by himself with no motivator, it doesn't matter that motivator costs a decent amount of coins. One of them is going to drop. More than likely, the motivator will drop if the catching mechanic is not fixed. So it would make sense to go after Deion Sanders out of position wide receiver. And for people that are saying you can't have both, yes, you can. We did it last year. You can have a wide receiver of the same person, and as long as the deep, cornerback wide receiver, you can have both Deion Sanders. Just can't be on the same side of the ball. So that's a myth. Similar to last year, you could have, tight end Gronkowski, and you could have the middle linebacker Gronkowski. So when you think about the way that you want to go with the whole free situation, however you want to do it, it's going to be solely up to you. Whatever works for you, go with it, but I'm going to tell you how it works for me. And then I'm also going to be streaming a little bit more on YouTube, because people have been asking to actually see gameplay of the cards doing wild stuff. So I'm going to stream like I did yesterday. Check out my most recent live stream if you want to see some of these cards in action, and let you guys start to see why I come up with my own assessments. I don't really listen that much. Like, as far as the zone coverage goes, I was able to see early on that zone coverage 91 was the meta, and it actually mattered. So I adjusted accordingly. Then they did a tuning update in a patch or whatever they did when you just can't use Ultimate Team for 15 minutes, and then it just didn't work anymore. So I don't know what's going on with it, but I will keep I'll keep you guys updated. But motivators initially is gonna crash the market based on price, unless it's a highly sought after power up card. Like, I don't think Julio Jones is gonna drop because people are really thinking that his power up card means something. but he drops the ball the same exact way as everybody else does. You know, that's just like the example I'm giving. So get ready for the motivators. It should be dropping very soon. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll get right back to you, man. All right? You guys go ahead and take care. I'm going to see you next time. One love.